Hey guys, I am in my room once again, and morally is I am still sick, but it's morally just because I just got done playing Brawlhalla, so I actually, I was standing the entire time, so I just want to like sit down and and stuff, and I'm still sick, so I should probably like sit down like quickly instead of just taking a few minutes, just to get to sit down and stuff like that. So yeah, but yeah, I I don't I'm going to like pretty much explain some of the stuff in my universe. Well, I'm going to be explaining two things in my universe. One is the concept of my Shadowverses, because I realize I haven't really explained those. And two is the concept of how I did like half human, half dragons, just because I feel like that is something maybe people will be interested in to see how I did that, because so many people use Dragators, and that's, by the way, that's the word for half human, half dragons, Dragators. But yeah, people use Dragators in many things, so it's kind of so, and people always find new ways. So this is kind of the way I did it. So we're just going to go to Dragators. Dragators, I kind of wanted. So I wanted to have where dragons and humans were like connected and they were bonded and stuff. So, me creating that lore, if you guys haven't listened, there's like, I do make lore, and some of them, I should put titles over them. Like this one. Yeah, it's just like it's just like me telling the story of like Dragators and backstories and what happened in between of like, when my universe to now type stuff. So, yeah, it's kind of funny in a way. But but I didn't want my superheroes to be OP, because honestly, I didn't want them to be so powerful that they're like anime level powerful. And that's kind of hard to reach, when it's like a hard line to go in between when it comes to superheroes and anime, because some superheroes it's okay for them to go anime level, and there's superheroes in DC and Marvel that can actually beat a few be a few anime characters, so to speak. But so yeah. So what I did is I pretty much, like, after when I made the lore, and the lore was perfect, it was lovely. I loved the lore, and I figured out how to connect them. I wanted to lessen the powers a little bit. So making those weaknesses that dragons have and give it to Dragators, just like the pollen from a dragon flower, and like Dragantanium and a few other things that could pierce the dragon's skin. Those are like things that can harm a Dragator, because it can harm dragons. The one of the things I wanted to do that could lessen it was that I wanted to bring in this barrier, so that made this happen. So they couldn't bond with anyone that had their powers. Like, I will had like opposite powers, like complete opposite. Like a wind dragon couldn't connect to someone who had the power of like fire, since it's like two polar opposites, and sometimes polar opposites they can connect, but it can't. They had to connect with someone who had like similar abilities or some similarities to them, for then they could connect to them, because that was the only way they could do that. And the weakness is like, oh yeah, they went to the Shadowverse. They're there for so long that their body were pretty much used to that world, and so now the human world kind of like weakens them. So now it's just like, oh yeah, they're weakened now. So now we need to find like human host, and it was very convenient for them that this blast was also giving people powers as well. Um. So yeah, and then I just gave Dragators like wings, claws, hearing, dragon hearing, dragon sight, stuff like that, and technically dragon breath, but I don't know. It's like certain people can do it, some people couldn't. Some people don't want to. So it's kind of like, a little bit of a toss up and stuff. And we do have a Dragator that was created by accident. I we I I should probably get to that. I will get to that at some point. That, because that's going to be like a fun story to talk about. So yeah, that's how I did Dragators. I hope you guys found that one interesting. To me, it should have been simple, but it was really difficult to do. Um, Shadowverses. I made Shadowverses because I wanted my universe to have like that extra flair, you know. Like I wanted to have something that it didn't have before. Not to attract Marvel, because my biggest dream is to get my universe into DC or Marvel. Well, to at least get them to consider. If I get them to consider it and they still tell me no, then I will take that with happiness and pride. I'll still cry, but I'll take it with happiness and pride. Um and then I'll get over it. I'll probably have a bigger dream than that. But yeah. Because of that, I wanted there to be like I just want something big. So I created these Shadowverses. Shadowverses go against my rules. So my rules is that I couldn't do many things with characters or make them overpowered, make them OP. I had to lessen their powers a little bit, or at least give them a defect or a weakness or something, you know. But Shadowverses kind of go against those rules. I have to still give them weakness, or else it's just going to be boring rules. There's a fly in here. I need to kill it. But so yeah, but it's also a place of random stuff that I can put in. So I can make anything out of a Shadowverse. I can like I've made a few already, and tomorrow I made this name a few of the Shadowverses that I've made in a while. There's a lot of them, so that could still be fun. For me to talk about. I love talking about that type of stuff. So yeah, so I definitely yeah, and it was just like anything could have been put into them, and I do put anything into them. They're not based off of one thing. They're just random things that are in this like little tiny giant piece of land, like a giant island pretty much floating in this energy ball of sky that's supposed to not like people not supposed to know it exists, is not supposed to exist and it still exists type stuff. So yeah. And even now, I'm thinking about making a Shadowverse where there's like dinosaurs that have superpowers, but not like people like one is like Spider Man is Spider Rex, one's like Bat Pterosaur. No, it's like they have superpower. Just like superpower dinosaurs. That's it. I think I'm gonna make that canon because I really like that. I really like that idea. Um, and so yeah, and then after that, I kind of just me like, oh yeah, when the blast wave gave people powers, some kids, and some people started going missing. When really they were getting teleported to Shadowverses, and then their bodies were being, their bodies got their DNA got rearranged. His DNA got all rearranged from Danny Phantom, and now their bodies like kind of like similar to what that Shadowverse is. So they start slowly, kind of like being half human and half whatever Shadowverse they're into, or wherever they got put into that point. And I love that because yeah, that's it makes it a lot more fun, and it allows me to have more characters to make, like more heroes, more villains, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how I made Shadowverses. That I know I haven't talked about on here, but yeah, I do. So yeah, that's my Shadowverse stuff. I find it really fun. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this, and see you guys later. Crimson Thunder out.